Hi, and welcome. I'm Anna-Marie Morgan, author of the D.I. Giles series and the Diane Mackenzie series of murder mystery thrillers, and I'm excited you're here for this first instalment of my 10-minute Meet the Author videos. Today I'm talking about how I became a writer, what inspired me to start telling stories, and my journey into writing and publishing. I suppose I've always been a writer. As a child I'd write poetry by streams and brooks, and draw little pencil illustrations to go with them. I wrote short stories too, and mostly love stories when I had a crush. Like the time I spent my whole summer holidays collecting feathers for a sixth form boy called Gary, because I heard he liked them. I handed him a carrier bag full. You should have seen his face. He was not impressed, and I wanted to crawl into the nearest bush. I can laugh about it now, but wow, was I embarrassed. I read constantly, every spare moment, except when collecting feathers, of course. I used to hide out in the school library. My handwriting was awful. I'd race through my work just to get back to reading. Dickens, Dolphin Sonar, you name it, I read it. But I wanted to write longer stories, even books. Mrs. Owens, my English teacher, wrote in a report I had an extraordinary talent for writing. I wasn't so sure though. So I studied science, and I became a biochemist, 14 years in the field. It's come in handy for the forensics part of my books. The idea for my first novel, Deathmaster, came when I was living in Oxford. I was working as a postdoctoral biochemist and as a special constable in my spare time, and I always wanted to be a police officer. But I was too short. The restriction, when I was younger, was 5'4", and I'm only 5'2". People made all sorts of suggestions to me. You could get yourself stretched on a rack, was probably one of the least useful. I think muck in my boots might have been another one. In any event, they changed the height restriction just in time, and I joined Thames Valley Police as a special constable. One evening, I attended a particularly traumatic incident with fellow officers. My knees were shaking, I can tell you. It made me appreciate just how brave frontline officers are. But it also got me thinking. It got me thinking deeply about grief and about how we cope with sudden loss. D.I. Yvonne Giles, the main character, is a strong-willed character, but an anxious one. She's lost loved ones in sudden, tragic ways. Writing her was a way for me to process some of what I'd seen, and to give a voice to the pain and compassion that came from those moments. I sent the first chapters off to literary agents when I moved back to Wales in 2003. And I got a mixture of rejections and interest. One agent asked for the whole manuscript, and I think I paid £76 to send it to New York, and I never heard back. And back then, you submitted to one agent at a time, and you waited months, sometimes a year, to hear back. My sister Sharon suggested trying Amazon KDP, so I did, and I've never looked back. And now I'm working on book number 30, and I love it as much as ever, maybe even more. Reader messages make my day. I feel lucky every time I sit down to write. So why murder mysteries? Well, I can tell you, you have Enid Blyton to thank for that. As a child, I read every single one of her books. I loved them all, but I particularly enjoyed her famous 5 series and The Secret 7. My sisters and I and our best friends would pretend to be detectives, solving mysteries in the back garden, and I remember always being the ringleader. Even today, I can get caught up in puzzling over a real-life whodunit, because I really need to know. Well, that's about it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed learning about my journey into writing. Please subscribe and follow for more updates, and I'll see you in the next video. Happy reading and happy writing.